Hey David, this is Donnie. Okay, this is going to be a short tutorial because you know a little bit of how to set up these kind of things. Because if you're familiar with, it's a late Sunday night, you're familiar with setting up blog posts. So I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time showing you how to set up a page because it's similar, and I've already covered it not only in the blog post tutorials, which you already know, but also in the previous post that I did regarding it's page number 1, I think is what we call it. Okay, so as we were saying in a previous thing, obviously you have a multiple number of pages. Some of those are not visible. They're kind of behind the scenes. The way you find that out is on your dashboard. Come over here to pages. You can also see here that you have 15 pages out there. Some of those are visible. Some of those are kind of behind the scenes. So let's say you wanted to add a new page, and for this sake, we're going to add a new page here. And let's call it college. Let's say you're going to help some college kids out and you're going to send them to college, a website, meredith-law.com/college. And I indicated this in a previous blog post, page number 1 tutorial. Make sure you set up your permalinks. Typically, you don't want those with underscores or dashes, things of that nature. You want it to be fairly easy to follow, so having it all one word. In this case, college is just one word, but if you had college students, then you would want to type it out like this, have it lock in the permalink, and then come back in later after you've saved it and change it to look like that. Now you can always edit it, but it takes a little longer and it's just a little more complicated. So let's say you set up one that says college students. Now your information here is very similar to blog posts. You've got your formatting. I think you asked before, but I'll just reiterate it again. If you have a Word document and all of your information is typed on a Word document, do not paste it directly into this area here. And it all has to do with the fact that Word itself has some formatting to it. And we don't want formatting on it, so because that messes with the current format of the website. So what you really want this to be is to be stripped down. And there's 2 options you can use. They have this one, paste from Word, but this one works just the same. It's paste as plain text, which is what essentially this does. You paste it from Word, but it converts it to plain text. Either one of these does the exact same thing. And so you paste your information here, you insert it, and when you do that, it shows up here. So always do this, or I'd say regardless, even if you're pasting from your own website, just strips out all the unnecessary coding that is there. I, on my computer, have what's called a notepad thing like this. You can also copy it into Notepad and paste it from here. Notepad is it's basically Microsoft Word without the formatting, the behind-the-scenes formatting and all that necessary stuff. So I sometimes will paste it in a Notepad and then put it into here, or whatever you can do on that. So that's just an option that you might want to consider. You can add photos and video and different things up here on these icons. This one is add an image. This one is add video. This one's add an audio. This one does all of them. I usually default to add media because it can do any of these 3. It's just the easiest one for me to pick. Those are the biggest things on that. Let's see. So this is where you'll type it all in. A little key thing, and I think I mentioned this before, but I just want to mention it again. There are 2 tabs here. There's the visual, which is more of a what you see, what you get kind of feel. If I typed something here and said, hello, college students, or something to that effect, right? Okay, and let's say I came in there and I put bold, italics, and I centered it. That's kind of what it'll look like. Although this is kind of a WordPress, you'll see this on any WordPress site. You would look exactly like this. So it's not going to look exactly like it does on your website because it has to go from this through the theme filter to make it look like this. Some themes you would see that, and you can see this is kind of what I would call kind of a Times Roman type of font. But when it goes through the theme, your theme converts it to more of an Arial type font. So it's not exactly, it's not the whole WYSIWYG, what you see, what you get. It's not 100% like that, but it gives you a better idea than this tab, which is the HTML tab, and this is all the code. Some HTML geeks, and I've become one of those to some degree, I will find myself working in this section more than even this at times. So these are two different tabs. You'll spend most of your time in here. However, if you are finding yourself like embedding videos that you find on YouTube, either videos that you've done, you put on your own YouTube channel, or you pull in videos from other places, whenever you paste in the code from a YouTube video, you'll always paste it on the HTML side of things. And so you kind of put it in here. So just kind of FYI on that. This is a great button. It's the undo button. And can't tell you how many times I've pasted something in. Sometimes out of habit, I copy paste it from Word and I realize, oh no, I just pasted it. I meant to click one of these and I forgot. All I have to simply do is click undo. And it reverts back. And so that's a nice little feature, spell check. This obviously, again, where you can highlight a hyperlink and, put in your college, acu.edu, open it up in a new window, which I would recommend for any pages outside your website or PDF documents. I don't want that one space hyperlinked. So then you would, if you publish that, then this would be hyperlinked, etc. So similar kind of stuff that we've done before. But pages, a couple things that are a little differently. One, you can save it as a draft. I can't remember how that differs from the post, but you don't have to. If you're working on this college student ones over a period of 2 or 3 days, you can simply save it as a draft, come back to it. Similar to, and this is a big thing, visibility is if you want to password protect something. So let's say you have some information that you only want to give out to your paid clients. Somebody like me who has not paid you to do work, I would not have access to this site. But if you wanted to make an access to your paid clients, some special, unique content that is only available to those who you consider to be your clients, you could make this, if this was, instead of college students, let's say it was client login or something, client whatever, portal or something to that effect. You could put a password and call it Meredith, or you can call it whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, etc. You can put a password on it. So, and I think this is how we set up the tutorials that you're watching now. Password protect them. So if somebody happened to stumble upon the tutorials page on David Meredith's site, they're not going to be able to watch those videos. Not that there's anything in there, but we wouldn't want them to see how we do things. And so we password protect them. Probably won't ever use the private one, but that's what that's for. So password protect is most of the time it'd be public, but that's that. Now, you can, just similar to blog posts where you can schedule them out, you can also do this. This might be a time where you say, you know what, I'm going to have an event that I'm going to open up to ACU students starting July 1st. Starting July 1st, they can go in and get all the information, sign up, etc., etc. But you want to do it in June while you're thinking about it. It's fresh, but you don't want to put it out there. So you say, I'm going to publish this July 1st so that the page is active on July 1st and not before then, so no one has access to it beforehand, etc. So that's what that's for. I don't think too many times I've published pages, future date, like I do blog posts, but just in the event that you might want to do that, you can. If you move to trash, if you ever decide you don't want a page, you can delete it there. There's other places to delete it as well. Preview it and publish, pretty self-explanatory. This is where I was saying in the previous one, if we ever get to where you have multiple things up here, right now you have a certain number of pages that are visible on there, but you don't have enough room to add a lot more pages. This is where we may have to get into drop-down menus. So we might have, instead of estate planning, probate, small business, nonprofits, we might have attorney profile and services. And under services, they would find estate planning, probate, and small business. So let's say we were going to create one called college students, but we wanted this to be found under the, let's just found it under the attorney profile. You could go up here to the parent. What does it mean by it? Well, right now it would either, if there's no parent, it would fall under kind of the main heading, but if we wanted to put it under the attorney profile, again, we want to order it, so we might say in first order, publish it, Now, let's just see what happens with that. We have not formatted any. I think I printed this, but I want to go to settings. Always do. This is, again, you just because you've created the page doesn't mean it's visible. You have to make sure it's visible. And there we go. I have to make sure I find it first. Okay. Save that. Now, if I update my page, again, we have not done much with the second level colors, so this could be looking really unique. Oh, not too bad. So there's now college students. We can make that wider and taller a little bit, but you can see here there's a drop-down menu. So that's how you make a drop-down menu by basically, I'm going to uncheck that while I'm thinking about it. Refresh the page. There we go. Now it's no longer visible to everybody else. So that is what you would do setting up a page. Come back to this before I delete it. Yeah, the order. This is kind of a default. You always kind of want this on there. Default template. There are different templates, different ones with no sidebars and sidebars and stuff like that. I think the only ones we ever did was the one with split sidebars or the no sidebars. There seems like there's a page on your site that has a no sidebar. It might be the contact. No, it's got these are sidebars here, here, and here. One of these pages, I believe, if it's your blog or not. Nope, your blog is up. I was thinking there was a page that, and maybe it's your one of these pages. I thought we had. Yeah, okay. So to make sure, because you have a lot of stuff on here, we didn't want the sidebars on this one. So when we created that page, rather than have it the default template, we said you want the wide layout, so the wide layout with no sidebars. And you select that option, and you go from there. So that is how you would do that. You typically weren't going to do much with this stuff down here, this discussion and comments and all this kind of stuff you won't mess with. We're going to talk in another time about this all-in-one SEO. We're probably going to change that. That's a plugin that's helpful, but we've come up with a new plugin that's going to be hopefully even better. Our SEO guy has kind of turned us on to something new that we're trying out. So more to come on the all-in-one or the SEO type plugin for each of these pages. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do page. So I'm going to stop there, and then we'll come back and do some other things on your site here in a minute.